Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel for Calgary, Alberta. And my name is Rob Van Overmeer, and I'm your host / real estate agent. And I'm going to give you 5 pros for living in Calgary and 5 cons for living in Calgary in this video. Okay, the first pro for living in Calgary is there are a tremendous amount of parks. If you're an active person, this city is awesome. We have parks like Fish Creek Park, where you can just go for miles and miles of walking paths and get into the forest, and you've got beautiful scenery, birds, you name it. And there's a tremendous amount of green spaces all over Calgary, and we have some of the most amazing bike paths. But don't forget, we also have the mountains so close by that offer so much when it comes to lifestyle, skiing, mountain biking, hiking. It doesn't get any better from an outdoor perspective. If you want to get our updates on living in Calgary, Alberta, just please hit the subscribe button and you can get all of my videos coming up in your feed regularly. Okay, the first con to living in Calgary is obviously the weather. This weather is crazy in Calgary. I have seen weather go to -40, which is like ridiculously cold. You don't even want to go outside. And then literally a Chinook blows in and all of a sudden it's like 0. But a lot of people get headaches from these Chinooks as well. So the weather is just so unpredictable in Calgary. Even in the summertime, I am not kidding. I have seen snow in July. Like, it's crazy the kind of weather we can have, but overall, the weather is manageable. The other thing about Calgary when it comes to weather, it is really dry here. We're talking, if you live here, you're gonna have to buy like massive amounts of moisturizer for your skin, because the dryness will suck the living life out of your skin. Trust me, you need to moisturize if you're gonna live here. Okay, pro number 2, this is a thriving sports city. So if you're an active person, there is so much that Calgary offers when it comes to sports. If you want to learn to ski, well, we have COP. It's fantastic. If you have kids, you want to get them into the ski world, this is a great place to learn. Of course, we have a professional hockey team. We have hockey all over the city, pretty typical Canadian town when it comes to that. But we have an indoor sports center for soccer. We have all kinds of climbing walls inside. There's just, when it comes to sports, the sky is the limit as to what you can do. Every sport is really available. And I can't say enough about soccer because that's really one of the most upcoming growing sports there are in all of Canada, and especially right here in Calgary. Okay, con number 2 for living in Calgary has got to be the traffic. Now, if you're coming here from Toronto or Vancouver, you might not think it's so bad, but if you're coming from anywhere else, this city can be really, really frustrating for traffic, especially on the Deerfoot in the mornings, from about 7:30 till 9 o'clock is crazy rush hour. And again, from around, 4:30 till about 6 o'clock. So you got to be prepared for that. And the other thing, there's an old saying in Calgary, there's 2 seasons, there's winter and construction. This town has a lot of constructions. Like when you're driving around in the summertime, you're going to see a lot of yellow flag signs all over the place and construction worker, which adds to the frustration of the traffic. Okay, the third pro for living in Calgary is the fact that we have one of the most sunniest cities in all of Canada. We're averaging 333 days of sun per year, which is amazing. Even in the wintertime when it's cold, it can be like -30 and you're still getting sun. Now, I mentioned earlier these Chinooks that come in. They're also fantastic because the Chinooks are kind of a phenomenon that has warm air that comes off the ground and the winds blow over the mountains. I'm not sure all the technical jargon when it comes to how it all works, but I do know that you can go from -20 to like 0 in a matter of hours. And it can really warm things up and melt the snow. And a lot of people do like it from that standpoint. Add that to the sunny days, that's a real good pro as far as I'm concerned. Okay, con number 3 for Calgary, I'd have to say the transit system. I don't know who thought of this crazy idea to put our C train above ground as opposed to below ground, but I can tell you almost every year, inevitably some people die from getting hit by a train in Calgary. It's ridiculous. ridiculous. But I've also noticed that this C train can just be crammed with people. Like, I mean, you can be in there like a sardine in the mornings. And I also find that there's certain parts of the city that it's just even hard to get a bus to get, easily back into the downtown core. So Calgary, they could definitely improve the C train. That's a big negative as far as I'm concerned for living in Calgary. Okay, pro number 4 has got to be the Calgary Stampede. The Calgary Stampede is the largest rodeo in the world, comes with an exhibition, and it really gives the city its identity. Everybody here loves the Stampede. For 10 days in July, we host this event and everybody puts on cowboy hats and cowboy boots and cowboy shirts. There's all kinds of parties around town and people are two-stepping and listening to country music. So it's a really phenomenal thing and everybody just loves it. No matter where you're from or whoever you are, you can really get into the cowboy lifestyle and get into the whole cowboy scene, even if you're not really that big into cowboys. But for 10 days, you'll really enjoy it. And like I said, it really gives us our identity and it brings people closer together. We can relate to each other and we have a lot of fun during the Stampede in July. Okay, con number 4 for living in Calgary. I would say one of the things we really do lack here, which is unfortunate, is we don't have a lot of lakes that are near Calgary. We've got Chestermere Lake, which is rather small, but you have to drive a fair distance in order just to get to a lake. I know a lot of people who have come here from other parts of Canada are quite disappointed on the fact that during the summer, it's really hard to find lake access. I mean, we've had to literally build lake communities in Calgary just to be able to have water because we just don't have a lot of it. So it's a big con. If you're really a water person, I mean, you're just going to have to plan for the fact that you're going to have to drive a few hours to get to a lake if you want to do that in the summer. This is just how it is. Okay, pro number 5 is definitely housing costs. Now, of course, if you're coming from Regina, you might see that the housing prices are actually high if you're coming from a place like Saskatchewan. But for the most part, if you're coming from Ontario or BC or a lot of other places in Canada, our housing costs in Calgary are actually very affordable. So this is a real bonus, and it's one of the reasons why we're getting a lot of the new immigrants that are coming to Calgary. We have jobs, we have an oil and gas industry that's huge, we have a lot of tech companies that are coming here, our tax situation is relatively low, and it's just an affordable place to live. So that's a real pro for Calgary. Okay, con number 5 for Calgary, right along the theme of housing, we don't have a lot of bungalows in Calgary. I don't know why so many of these developers over the years, they've just built a massive amount of 2-stories. So if you're a person that doesn't like a lot of stairs, this is actually a tough place to live because literally, I don't know if it's like 80 or 90% of the houses, but I would say pretty close to that amount are 2 stories in Calgary. That's just what they built. It's just how it is. And also, it's not common to have air conditioning in houses here. And I can tell you, for the most part, you probably don't need it, but there's definitely sometimes in the summertime that can go on for a couple of weeks where you could really wish you had it. Hey, thanks for watching this video, and I hope it's been really helpful for you if you're trying to consider Calgary as your home. And if you want to get these updates, please hit the subscribe button and you'll get these updates on a regular basis.